Hey, how's it going, everyone? Kuma here, and welcome to BumSesh, the new thing that I'm gonna try and start doing from now on. If you know me, you've seen my videos. You know, I like talking about stuff. I get pretty passionate about stuff, and sometimes I just shit on stuff. I don't try and do that, you know, often here, but I think I should try to start because some people like me better when I'm angry and when I complain about stuff. So we'll give it a try. Um, Today's video, if you've read the title, talking about Soulstice, and this game seemed like a perfect jumping off point for me. Just thinking about it, just there's so much. Like I've never found myself questioning game design the way I do with this game. And I'm not a game designer. I don't know what it takes to do that stuff, or what goes into it, really. But I have so many issues that I just need to talk about it. And if you'll give me the time, I would like to tell you why. So, Soulstice is a game that I knew very little about when it was announced, and whenever the PlayStation trailer dropped. I was just scrolling through my phone, trying to see what to watch, and it came up on my recommended, and I checked it out and kind of looked. There was no gameplay; it was all cutscene, really. So I just figured this could be like a Souls-like, like a little bit more action Soulsy, and I thought that was fine. My fault for assuming that it would have been a Souls-like, but I just was willing to give it a go. And even if it wasn't that, it looked interesting enough for me to give it a go. At least, even though some of the characters looked a little wonky, and then one of the bosses just looked like Artemis from Devil May Cry. But I digress. So this game came out. I have my notes here, sort of more like talking points, but already a good change, as we've seen, or as if you've seen BumSesh before. I don't normally script these. It's just still not scripted. It's just talking points. Probably don't need to point that out, but I think it's important. I think it's a little bit of growth for me. Anyway, so that was like the main reason I was like excited for it, or at least looking forward to it. And yeah, the game came and went, last year around September, I believe, and I didn't pick it up until earlier this year, and which is 2023. And immediately after I did my first session on it, I just kind of felt super drained. I couldn't really tell why. That first time, after playing it a couple more times, I can tell why I feel drained. I can tell why I feel like I recorded 4 hours instead of a 45 to an hour minute long, or hour minute. Yeah, an hour minute. A lot of that has to do with like the color and the camera a little bit. Camera mainly because it makes me strain a little bit. I have a big ass TV, but I'm still straining my eyes trying to look at what's on screen sometimes. The camera's so zoomed out, you can't really tell what's going on most of the time. At least, I don't know. Again, it might just be a me thing, but I think the camera's too far out, and there's not a lot of visual clarity, especially when the colors are just a bunch of grays, blacks, like a dark blue, some white highlights in there because of the armor. It's just a bunch of gloomy colors. Like they were afraid to put some color on the fucking screen. Like, goddamn. Sometimes you'll get some purple, but the entire screen is purple. Sometimes you'll get some white, but the entire screen is white. It's just like they were afraid to put some damn color in the game, and they decided, let's make it dark and gloomy because it's got a dark and gloomy setting. But it didn't have to be like that. I mean, when you think about it, Devil May Cry kind of fucked up. still bright as hell. It's got some nice colors. Maybe not Devil May Cry 5 per se, because you have the flesh walls everywhere at past half the game, and that was a big like problem with everyone. But you know, it's still pretty bright, and you can tell what's going on most of the time. Bayonetta, same thing. Even though it's like city streets and ruins or whatever, it's still interesting to look at. And I mean, it doesn't feel like this game where it feels like I crossed the same damn bridge like 6 to 8 times. I shouldn't be feeling like I crossed this bridge 6 to 8 times because it looks the exact damn same. Like I don't I don't get it. I mean, I get that money, or like budgeting is an issue, and it's a big ass fucking issue, but I don't think you needed to reuse the assets that much that I was genuinely thinking that this was the same bridge, even though I knew that it wasn't. I'm at a loss for how repetitive some of the stages feel, on top of being long. And also, none of my problems about this game are gonna be story or character based. It's just gonna be gameplay and I guess level design wise. It's not just the platforming and exploration that suffers. It's also the combat. I mean, look at this. You seen this? I don't know if that's super clear to you. It's not to me. It's not awful. But when the camera zoomed out that far and the prompts that show up to do your perfect parry and your slow-mo thing, or to deflect stuff. Well, to deflect and to do the slow-mo, it's not that bad because you can just do those as long as the prompt is out. But for the perfect parry, the game wants you to do it as soon as the prompt comes out, but there's no telegraph. And even if there is, it's kind of hard to tell because of how fucking far the camera zoomed out. So, I don't know. And I mean, there's a setting for the camera, which I applauded, but I haven't really seen that big of a difference with it. So it just really muddies up the combat and really just makes it the not best thing to be doing in the game. Like, I would much rather do the platforming segments and the exploration than doing any of the combat at any point in this game. That might change with some of the later weapons, because from what I've seen, people doing their reviews, they're talking about it, but they have the chain whip and stuff going on. I'm like, I don't have that. I don't know. I mean, it could be, they could have had fun the whole way through, but I think that those weapons might add more fun to the game than not. But we'll see. So the camera being zoomed out and the combat suffering from it isn't the only problem the combat has. Like, the combat is weak in general. I mean, you do any combo and the enemies just fucking fly across the screen, and you might think that makes the combat feel more impactful or whatever. Fine, but that's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking to throw my enemies like full screen, and then have to chase them down with a character that's slow as hell, even with the dodge. There's no fast way to move or to pull yourself to opponents or pull opponents to you. At least not where I'm at in the game. If loot can get it, then like, okay, cool. But I don't know. I think that kind of stuff should be something that you have early on rather than be unlocked later. But I could be wrong, and if you disagree with me, let me know. And I just think that having an option to pull an enemy towards you, or maybe create a barrier around it. I mean, you can already create a barrier, but it only affects red enemies and blue enemies, and I'll get to that. But like, that's it. I would have maybe thought it'd be cool if you could, have say you pull up the red barrier, you could creates a little field that enemies can't go past when you're in a combo with them. Or with the blue little barrier, you gain speed. It's not, like just movement speed. Maybe not combo speed or anything, but just movement speed. And that'd be great because it would incentivize you to switch between the two in case you need to do some crowd control, or you just want to move around quick and get to chase down an enemy or something. I don't know. Something like that would have been sick, I think, versus what we have now. So now I'll address the red and blue barriers. It's something that they lifted off of DMC Devil May Cry. It seems that that would be the closest analog I could provide to you. And while it's not bad in that game, I guess it's not as bad as people made it out to be, especially in Definitive Edition where your weapon doesn't bounce off like it did in the original release. These devs didn't get the memo, and so if you try and fight a red enemy with your blue attacks or normal attacks, your weapon bounces off and you're left open, which you could argue makes for more difficult combat. But to me, it's just annoying because with the camera so zoomed out and with this auto lock-on type or soft lock-on type thing that the game tries to do, you'll end up hitting an enemy you don't want to hit instead of what you wanted to hit sometimes. And sometimes that happens to be a red enemy or a blue enemy, and then you bounce off and you're left with, I mean, you could still defend yourself. Loot could still work separate from you, but I don't know, man. It's just, it feels dumb. It feels bad to me that something that you should be in pretty much control of, you're not, right? And I know that there's a lock. I know that there's actually a lock on, and it's a fucking awful one for what this game is. And I don't know who started this first. Having the R3 as a lock-on button for a character action game doesn't, that's not a good thing. Like Bayonetta, I believe, does it. Bayonetta 3 also does it, and it doesn't work out there either. There's nothing wrong with having a button for a lock-on. And I don't know why these devs keep thinking that they need to reinvent how you lock on to enemies in these games, but having a R1 lock-on and just, letting me be in charge of who I want to lock on to is a beautiful thing and should always be in any character action game. I don't care what vision you have. That's one thing you don't fuck with. That's one thing you don't touch. And if you're not gonna do it, then don't have a lock on at all. I'd rather take that. I'd rather you just give me a soft lock on that I'm gonna complain about, that I'm gonna hit one enemy, but I instead hit another enemy, versus you give me a lock on that I can't, it doesn't actually add anything to the gameplay. Because having an R1 as your lock on means that you can add input attacks, a forward input and your attack button, and you get like a stinger or a back input and attack, and you get a launcher, stuff like that. It makes it a lot easier for your game to feel more accessible, I think, than for me to have to press square and X to do a fucking launcher. I really dislike that. Kinda got ahead of myself there. But the lock-on's pretty, I just said it. The lock-on's not great. And there are buttons that are underutilized or being utilized for things that shouldn't even be there. Like, why am I having to press R1 to go into my weapon or my item wheel? Like, why is there even an item wheel when the pause screen isn't as cumbersome as it used to be? I would have a little bit more leeway if this is the PS2, maybe PS3, and you're trying to be a little bit, innovative here, so that I wouldn't have to go through the pause menu and then like, you know, kind of have to wait for animations or stuff to play out in the pause menu. But we're on the PS5 now, even the PS4, because this is on the PS4. But even then, we can pretty much seamlessly go from a pause screen to game seamlessly, right? So I don't see why you're wasting my R1 input for a stupid item menu. I don't see the point when you could have just made that a lock-on. And on top of that, I know that they're, I guess, actually serving a gameplay purpose, but R2 and L2 could have been weapon switches instead of having to use the D-pad. I find that a little bit more cumbersome to do. So instead you gave us the barrier system, which again doesn't really do anything outside of letting me hit red enemies and let me see and hit blue enemies and letting me see and jump off of blue platforms. It really doesn't do anything, and I don't get it. That's what the thing is gonna boil down to. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I'm old as fuck, I guess. I don't know. I don't think it's an ages thing. I think I make sense when I say that we don't need that. We don't need a dodge button either. Again, if you had an R1 button or R1 lock-on system, you wouldn't need a dodge button. You could have a dodge with a lock-on direction and jump, and you could, you know, and your jumps could also just have iframes on the, you know, jump animation. But no, you didn't do that. And you could have had that circle slash L1, because it's L1 but I changed it to circle. But you could have had that dodge button be a projectile button or a block or something actually useful. So that's most of the combat gripes I have out of the way. In this type of genre video game, you have your, what I like to think of as a sort of comeback mechanic. Like you're doing good, or you did well enough to get the meter, but maybe you're getting your ass kicked. Boom, pop that devil trigger, pop that whatever it's called in Bayonetta. I don't remember what it's called. Climax, I guess. You pop that shit. It's mainly Bayonetta 2, right? But yeah, pop that shit. Pop your Ripper mode. Take your pick. Your God hands. Take your pick. But you know, you're doing pretty good at the game. But like maybe you're getting overpowered or whatever. You want to do some more damage, or you just want to clear an area faster. Pop your DT. But you can still get that, like that meter build up, or those runes or whatever, even if you're not doing all that hot. You can still get it. You're not penalized for doing bad. You're not penalized for getting hit. You're not gonna lose your DT all of a sudden. You know, and that's like one of my problems with Soulstice. Also, it's like it's not directly combat related, but it is. It does have use in combat, right? Or you know, it is a power-up state, and the way they integrate it, the way they use it is also fucking backwards to me, because it's not a meter. It's not like, or it's not even a resource, right? It's like tied to how well you're doing without getting hit, because it's a synergy meter, and the better the two sisters work together, the closer their portraits become, and then you get to fucking look at this shit. Whoa, amazing! I know. And like, I mean, it works. It's fine. It is a pretty powered up state. Like you feel like you're powered up. You're fucking dashing all over the place. You're doing fuck tons of damage. Like, you know, it's a decent power up. My problem with it is, you can lose it by getting hit. Like you can lose the rapture state, or not the rapture state, but you can lose your build up to rapture by getting hit. And you can also lose the synergy, like the full synergy. The pictures are touching and they're together. You can lose that also by getting hit. And those are like your access to your strongest moves. And you could argue, yes, that's a great way to incentivize you to learn the game and get better. And I wouldn't say I have a problem with the fact that you have to actually do good at the game to, be able to take advantage of the rapture or the synergy mode. But as for someone who's not good at the game or great at the game, I guess I'm okay, but I'm not great at the game, so I can't always take advantage. And actually, to be fair, I have gotten rapture like a lot more often than I thought I was going to be getting it, just because of how I was like perceiving myself playing the game. I was like, I'm not going to get it often. It's probably going to be a one in a mission thing or something. I might just get lucky, but I've gotten good enough that I can get it pretty often. But that doesn't, like, that's not my biggest issue. Like, again, I can see the argument of it being you did good, so here's your reward for doing good. You can do better shit. That's fine, I guess. But what I can excuse is the fact that I don't have to watch a cutscene, because I believe they had the foresight to let you skip the cutscene. I would hate to imagine the game, like, pre-patch, if this was patched out, where you had to watch the cutscene every time you went rapture mode. But I'm assuming they had the foresight to let you skip the cutscene, because it's a pretty lengthy cutscene just for changing into your little rapture mode with your goofy ass face. So they let you skip the cutscene, but every time after you skipped it, there's a shorter cutscene. Like, you still have to watch a cutscene. I don't understand why they did that. Also, for your super move, your screen clear lightning thing, also have to watch a cutscene, and then you can skip it too, but you also get a short cutscene. So, like, my thing is just why they feel the need to add a cutscene. I mean, it's not like super detrimental to the game or anything. It might have been a limitation thing for them, but I don't see why. I don't understand it. Like, its contemporaries didn't have a cutscene have to play out, even on the PS2. It just happened. It just, oh, and you were your little demon man, or you were your little God hand man. Like, it just happened. You didn't have to watch a cutscene. Maybe a little animation in game, but it was short. It was shorter than the amount of time you take the control away from me so I can watch this stupid cutscene. And the fact that every time I start a new chapter, you make me watch the cutscene again, and don't give me the shortened one, even though, like, the mission before, you were giving me the shorter ones because I just skipped the cutscene. It's just annoying. Now, I have a lot of things to, like, I've just said all the things that I, at the moment, do not like about the game, right, personally. If you disagree with any of my takes, hey, go ahead, let me know what you disagree with in the comments. Let me know what you feel about the game, and maybe we could talk about something, And for as much as I don't like about the game and everything I just went off of right now, there are good things about it. The character designs are pretty okay. I like them. I dig the Claymore Berserk homage. The cutscenes are pretty nice to look at. Like, I don't know, like the art design and everything is fine when you're looking at it in cutscenes, but when you're looking at it in gameplay, it's so drab and dark and gray that it just, like, it just doesn't do it for me. and I thought they could do it with a little bit of color, but I wasn't on the team to be able to give these opinions to them. But um, as far as things go, things to like, the music is pretty good too. Like it's you know little wub wub for my like. Is that old? Fuck. Whatever. It's a little wub wub for my taste, but it's fine. I can deal with it. It's not too bad. And like again, in cutscenes, the like art style and everything, it's like fine. It works. The story is pretty okay. It's not like the greatest thing either, but like I want to see where it goes. And yeah, I mean, some of the weapon designs are cool too, but like just using them kind of sucks. But those are all my issues with the game, and some of the things that I liked. I couldn't speak too much on the things that I like. I think I'm too like blinded with the stuff that I don't like that I can't really remember things that I like other than that in like a vague sense. This isn't really a review. I didn't really plan this to be a review. I think I just wanted to offload some of my dislikes of stuff, and I think I'm just gonna try and do more of this. Maybe next time I'll have actually finished the game, but I think this one was just bottling up too much inside me for me not to talk about it. And every time I wanted to talk about it, I just like kept telling myself no, or like if I did talk about it, people would be like, "You should talk about it. You should make a video on that." And so I did. I just decided to pull that trigger, and I hope it pays off. I hope it's something that is liked by you guys, and just something to work on, I guess, for me to try and do new things. And yeah, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think, about the series, about the game, about other games you want to maybe see me talk about. If not here, maybe on BumSesh, maybe I'll be a little bit more passionate and more uh, wanting to talk about the things that I really liked about the game, even though it has some shortcomings or whatever. If you want to see a little bit more positive stuff, I'll try that definitely. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Taking the time to listen to a stupid person rant on the internet. Um, yeah, you like me, you like what I do. There's a button for that, and you can also subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one.